Welcome to Countdown to Tiger Kickoff as we visit with the head coach of the East Texas Baptist University Tigers, Mark Sartain. Coach, last Saturday was a good day for the Tigers as you defeated Mississippi College 34-24. Your thoughts on the win last Saturday in Clinton, Mississippi?
Well, we're excited to get it. You know, wins are tough, and on the road they're even tougher. And for the second week in a row, we've had an opponent who had come off a very, confidence-building win of their own. Mississippi College had just defeated Texas Lutheran. So they were, feeling pretty good about themselves, and that's the second week in a row we faced an opponent in that situation. So it's always good to come out of anybody else's yard with a victory.
The Tigers went into the second quarter down 3-0 to Mississippi College, but boy, a big play from center native Alex Cloudy.
Absolutely, a very momentum-swinging play, and of course a confidence builder for our defense as well as our offense. And Alex made a great play on the ball, and anytime you can score points on defense, it's a bonus.
Alex Cloudy with an interception in the second quarter went 69 yards for the touchdown, the pick six. And after that, the Tigers' offense rolled. The defense played tight. Matter of fact, because of Cloudy's performance, he was recognized by the American Southwest Conference as the Defensive Player of the Week. That's always good for one of your players to get.
Oh, absolutely, and very deservedly so. Alex has had a tremendous season. I think when we get to the end of this thing and you look at his cumulative statistics and just the plays that he's made, I don't know that there's a better one in the conference than Alex Cloudy.
Some other good defense performances from your defense, from Colin Pigskin with 10 tackles, Dylan Bethea with 10 tackles, Dylan Maxwell with 8 tackles. It seemed like afternoon on the radio we're calling the Dylan and Dylans, the DDs making the stops.
Well, and coincidentally, that's just where they were attacking us. They were attacking our edges and our flats, and those were safeties and our defensive end that you were calling out repeatedly. And those young men had tremendous ball games. Dylan Maxwell probably had the best start of his career to this point. Excited to see him continue to progress and improve. And of course, Colin Pigskin is one of the best football players I've ever coached. I've said that a number of times. And Dylan Bethea is going to be an incredible player himself.
Now, on the opposite side of the ball in the Mississippi College game, the previous week, Seth Hubbard with the big game against Howard Payne as quarterback throwing the ball. But this week, we saw the ground attack of ETBU make a difference in the ball game.
Well, and that's always encouraging. You want to be able to run the football when you want to, when you need to. And we were excited to see our offensive line sort of, get it together a little bit. They needed a confidence shot because we really haven't been doing things as well as we'd like up there. But hats off to those young men, and our running backs did a great job of getting downhill. We were getting what we wanted on the defensive side of the ball, so we just kept pounding it.
Gaddafi Davis had 105 yards in the Tigers win. John Gable had 97 yards and touchdown runs of 8 and 17. But before we continue to talk about this week's opponent, let's talk about another performance by Roy Butler. He had a big catch for 94 yards, which was a Tiger record.
Yeah, record-setting reception and touchdown reception for us. And, Roy's had 2 consecutive games of record-setting performances in filling in for Kwame Spikes, who was injured 3 weeks ago. And it's always a bonus when you've got a young man like that can step to the forefront in someone's absence, a returning starter, senior captain's absence, and have the kind of performances that he's had. He's a talented young man.
Before we talk about your opponent this week, Mary Hardin Baylor, let's do a segment on Countdown to Tiger Kickoff that we do each week. Opportunity for you, Coach, to highlight some members of your coaching staff as well as 2 players who play their high school football under the Friday Night Lights of East Texas. Let's talk about the coaches. I think you want to highlight your student assistants.
Yeah, we've got 3 young men that were all players for us here that are coaching for us on a part-time basis. Some of them are students, some of them are not. They're just GA type guys and doing an incredible job. Stephen Nicasio was an offensive lineman for us here for 3 years. Graduated last year and has come back to help us with the offensive line. Dwayne Hamilton was a safety and wide receiver here with us from Maybank that spent his whole career at ETBU, graduated, and is doing an incredible job in the secondary for us. And then Oliver Deal. Oliver was one of the seniors I inherited in 2007 when I got this job, and Oliver's come back to help me with the D-line. And we're just excited about these guys, their future, the kind of young men that they are, and they're doing an incredible job making us better.
I think the question is obvious. Do these 3 young men want to become coaches further on down full-time?
Oh, absolutely. That's their career choice, and we've given them sort of the opportunity to start out here where they go from this level. is yet to be determined. We'd love to keep all of them here and work them into full-time roles eventually. They may have different ideas. They may want to go coach some high school ball, but nonetheless, somebody's going to have them some really good help.
All right, now let's highlight two of your players on your roster who have East Texas ties.
Well, we'll talk about two that are about as local can get. And Josh Warbington from Hallsville and Kenderson Cooks from right here in Marshall. These two young men are freshmen on our football team, have played most of their snaps with the Gold team on Monday nights. Both have just done an incredible job for us. They're everyday guys that come out there and do their job. They've found their role, and they've performed that role to their best ability and done an incredible job for us. Josh was, early in the season had really moved into the top three of our quarterback selections, but fell ill, and that set him back a little bit. And he's stepped back in and has taken on an attack team role that's just been incredible and helped us get better every week. Kenderson is just one of those everyday guys. He's going to be a great player for us down the road, and he's one that we're excited to have a Marshall High a guy in our program once again.
Now let's talk about your game against the University of Mary Hardin Baylor. They're ranked number 2 in the nation in NCAA Division III college football. Of course, they're the American Southwest Conference leader, undefeated, but the Crusaders have yet to play the Tigers in Ornella Stadium this year.
Well, and the last time they did, we took them to overtime, had a chance to win, a real legitimate chance to win, just couldn't make it happen. And even since then, we've played them very tough. Even last year's statistics, I pulled them out, and even though there was like an 18-point differential or something of that nature, we matched them in first downs. We matched them in time of possession. Matched them in penalty yardage. We actually outgained them offensively. Had 350 yards rushing, set a new record for yardage that their defenses had surrendered in the history of the program. So, but it came down to some special teams malfunctions, and we hope to. We've always played them tough, and we feel like getting them here on Ornella's turf is going to be to our advantage. We're prepared.
Now, if you look at the schedule in American Southwest Conference, this is the team everybody wants to beat, and the Tigers have that opportunity.
Oh, absolutely. They've been dominant for so long, and it's not a knock on who they are or how they do things. Pete Fredenberg does an incredible job. They've got just an outstanding program from top to bottom. But if you could pick one game and if you could pick one opponent, anyone in the American Southwest Conference would choose this one. And so we're fortunate we've got a chance to put it on the field with them and see how things turn out.
Let's talk about some of the keys that you see as the head coach and your coach staff sees that what the team needs to do to come away with a victory against Mary Hardin Baylor. Well,
they're a very senior-laden, experienced football team, as they are every year, and they're very efficient. They're tenacious. They're the types of teams that if they get you reeling, they're not going to relax. They're not going to relent. They're going to pile it on. And but basically, what we have to do is we have to eliminate unforced errors. We can't give them extra opportunities. We can't give them extra possessions and cheap opportunities to score. So we want to eliminate our own unforced errors, execute, and play as hard as we can. And I think we'll have a good shot at this.
Well, Coach, best of the Tigers against Mary Hardin Baylor.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you for clicking in or tuning in to this edition of Countdown to Tiger Kickoff. Don't go away. The Tigers play Mary Hardin Baylor in Ornella Stadium. Kickoff in just a moment.